It's home sweet dome. The Syracuse Orange back in the Carrier Dome. They've lost only twice this season. Tonight's house guest, the Connecticut Huskies. Both of UConn's losses have come on the road, both against top 5 opponents. Will the Huskies' 5-game win streak continue, or will the Orange squeeze out a major upset? It's number 3 UConn and Syracuse coming up next. Syracuse, New York, Time Warner Cable Sports presents women's college basketball. Tonight, the Syracuse Orange plays host to the 3rd-ranked Connecticut Huskies. Hello, everyone. Stephen Fani, joined by former Rice University star Lorraine Shunk. We'd also like to welcome in our viewers on Connecticut Public Television. And Lorraine, the good news for Syracuse is that UConn hasn't been invincible so far this season. The Huskies have already lost twice. The bad news, both those losses to very good teams, and UConn seems to be playing its best basketball of the season so far.
They really are, Steve. It's been 16 years since Syracuse has beaten this national perennial powerhouse program in Connecticut, one of the most storied programs in all of women's college basketball. Coach Q talks about getting a signature win in the Big East. I can't think of a better one than tonight.
16 years, 20 straight wins for Connecticut in this series. A little bit earlier, we had a chance to catch up with both head coaches. Here's what they had to say about their keys to victory.
Well, mostly for us, it's we've got to play good defense. We're not a big team, so we've got to rebound the ball well, and we've got to play good defense. And we've got to make shots. We don't have a lot of different ways of scoring. Our post players are, they're all young, including Tiffany, who's a sophomore. So there's an awful lot of pressure on our perimeter guys to make shots from the perimeter. And if we do, then we can beat anybody we play against. If we don't, then it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But, luckily we've got a bunch of guys that can make them, and so far so good.
Well, in order for us to win this basketball game, I really think we got to come out and control tempo. Obviously, they play very fast, and they're really starting to extend the floor a lot on defense. So we got to take care of the ball, make sure that we make solid passes, and when we cross half court, we got to make sure that we get into a set and take a quality shot.
Now, Lorraine, both these teams are pretty young. You look at the rosters. UConn has just one senior on its roster, but she's a good one in Tiffany Hayes.
She really is. She's their leader. Connecticut's success goes right through her. So she's really a dominant force to be played with, and she's heating up right at the most critical time. She's had double-digit games in scoring the last 8.
And how about Kayla Alexander? In order for SU to have a shot tonight, they're going to need a big game out of Kayla.
Kayla's leading the Big East in blocks, and she's coming off the Big East honor roll last week, scoring 23 points against Seton Hall on Sunday, so she needs to be a force tonight.
Now, UConn is fresh off a 44-point win at nationally ranked DePaul on Saturday. Starting lineups, the opening tip, are up next. Back inside the Carrier Dome, moments away from tip-off between Syracuse and number 3 UConn. Here are the Geico starting lineups. 15 minutes could save you 15% on auto insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. For the visitors from Connecticut, one change to the starting lineup. Caroline Doty out with a bruised knee, so the Big East preseason freshman of the year, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, her first regular season start for the Huskies. Hayes, Hartley, and Ferris the guards. Sophomore Stephanie Dolson in the middle for Gino Ariema. He's in his 27th season, 788 career wins. That includes 12 Final Fours. For Syracuse, Coffey and Hall are the guards. Aisha Hemingway leads Syracuse in scoring. She's joined in the front court by Carmen Tyson-Thomas and Kayla Alexander. Syracuse coached by Quentin Hillsman. He is in his 6th season with the Orange, and we are set to jump it up. Kayla Alexander and Stephanie Dolson in the center circle. Your officials, Dwayne Mack, Laura Morris, and Barbara Jo Smith. And the ball is up, and we are underway. As we said, UConn has dominated this series. Last win for the Orange, 62-59 back in 1996 when Syracuse was still playing its home games at nearby Manley Fieldhouse, which no longer has a basketball court in it. It's now a football facility on the Syracuse campus. First possession of the game is a foul underneath, and charge that foul to Carmen Tyson Thomas. So 20 seconds in, and we have our first whistle.
One of the things Syracuse is really going to have to control today is certainly good defensive pressure, trying to stop these passes, because this is what Connecticut does. They basically run a 4-guard around the perimeter offense, and they'll post Stephanie Dolson up at the top, and she will look for cutting guards going backdoor into the paint.
Strong drive for Tiffany Hayes. First basket of the game, and now Syracuse able to break the pressure. Carmen Tyson Thomas brings it out, passes to Coffey, now Hall. Asia Hemingway, strong drive for
Very good move. That's a good sign. First possession, first basket. Connecticut will put a lot of pressure, and Syracuse, unfortunately, has been making a lot of turnovers. So if they can keep the ball under control and be careful with it, that'll be a real key.
Tyson Thomas created the turnover, missed the shot. Hemingway, basket and the foul. Syracuse with an early lead.
That's a great start. Couldn't think of a better start for Syracuse.
Charge the foul to Stephanie Dolson. And Hemingway at the free throw line. Good free throw shooter, 76% on the season.
She's made an awful lot of these during this season so far that have kept Syracuse in the game and many times sealing victories.
Went 15 for 16 from the line in a game against Pittsburgh. It's a new school record. Hayes thought about the three, then pulled it down. Dolson inside, working on Alexander, off glass, doesn't go. Offensive rebound to Ferris. Now a three-pointer on its way, in and out from Mosqueda Lewis, and another whistle and a foul, and charge that one to Lacey Hall. Second team foul against the Orange.
That'll be one thing Syracuse can't afford tonight, is they've got to be able to get those defensive rebounds. You don't want to be giving Connecticut 2 and 3 looks on a single possession.
Hartley off the mark. Rebound to Tyson Thomas.
Connecticut really in their patented man-to-man defense, they'll play that better than 90% of the time.
Good anticipation by Hayes to get a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds. 16 to shoot for the Orange. Tyson Thomas to trigger it in along the near sideline, gets it in for Coffey. And SU's going to have to move quickly here. Pick and roll with Hemingway. Coffey gets it to Hemingway. Strong drive again, gets bumped by Dolson, and that might be number 2 on Stephanie Dolson.
It was a great post up by Asia there. Stephanie had her back to her, so it was too late till she recognized that she was so close to the basket.
So not even 2 minutes in, UConn starting center picks up her second personal. Hemingway eyes the rim and gets this one to drop in. Fast start for Hemingway, already with 5. There's a look at Gino Auriemma, the Hall of Famer. 7 national titles at Connecticut, 12 Final Fours. We could be here all night going down his resume.
Exactly. We could have a whole broadcast dedicated to his amazing accomplishments.
So 6-2 Orange here in the early going. Dolson down low, baby hook, doesn't go. Hemingway, good defense, and it's picked up by Lacey Hall. Now Coffey to Tyson Thomas. Alexander wants it down low. Hemingway. They're trying to get it to her. Tyson Thomas from deep. Back of the rim doesn't go. Battle for the rebound is won by UConn.
Connecticut will take shots like that from Syracuse the entire game. That's not Syracuse's forte. They really need to get it in the paint. Their outside shooting's roughly around 30%. So Coach Auriemma will be happy with that. And by missing those, why that leads to transition points, which Connecticut is very good at.
Quick shot, no good from Lacey Hall. Rebound to Tiffany Hayes. Now Ferret hands it off. Mosqueda Lewis up top for Hayes. 15 to shoot. Just over 3 minutes gone by. Nice dump down pass. Dolson misses the layup. Hemingway the rebound.
That doesn't happen, but they're really catching Carmen.
Tyson Thomas basket and the foul. Drew the contact from Tiffany Hayes.
Syracuse is really pushing the ball up on those defensive rebounds. They're letting Carmen break out, and if the lane's open, she's taking it to the hoop. That's the message that must have come from Coach Q. So far, it's working.
Coach Q's got to be pleased with this start by his team. Not backing down from the UConn Huskies here in the early going. It's early, but Syracuse came to play tonight.
Sure
Up
did.
8-4, make it 9-4. Tyson Thomas converts the three-point play. And Coach Q continues to use the 1-2-2 defense. Little baby hook down low from Kia Stokes, who just checked into the game for Dolson. Near steal, Coffey. 3-on-1 if they hurry. Tyson Thomas takes it in. Nice block by Stokes. Ball will stay with Syracuse.
Kia's been getting some pretty solid minutes in these last few games, about 13 minutes a game, so that was a great block. No contact there.
Coffey having trouble getting it in, and timeout for Quentin Hillsman. And I think he called that timeout in the nick of time, Lorraine, as it looked like it was just about to be a 5-second violation. So good timeout for Coach Q.
Very, very close. They definitely had trouble getting it in.
Turnovers have been a problem for this Syracuse team, but so far tonight, and again, I realize we're only 3.5 minutes in, but so far tonight, the guards are handling UConn's pressure.
They really are. It's been refreshing to see, and as I said at the opening, that's one thing that Syracuse is really going to got to take care of each possession and value it like it's the last second at the national championship, because otherwise Connecticut will just eat you up with that.
Both these teams doing very well in the block shot category this year. Syracuse second in the Big East in block shots, UConn right behind, and Kayla Alexander, as we said, individually leads the conference in blocks. Here's Alexander off the inbounds play.
Nice shot. She's solid in that little mid-range area of the paint, so not only good around the glass, but about 8-10 feet away as well.
5-point lead for the Orange. 4 minutes gone by. Alexander got a knee on it. UConn keeps possession, 10 to shoot. Jumper drained by Mosqueda Lewis.
She's solid, #1 recruit in 2011 across the nation. And believe it or not, prior to tonight, she has been the leading scorer for UConn. And she hasn't even started. Tonight is her first start.
Tyson Thomas for 3. Syracuse statistically the worst shooting three-point team in the Big East. Connecticut tops in that category in the Big East, but it's Tyson Thomas hitting the first 3 ball of the night. 6-point lead for the Orange, largest of the night. Hayes from long range, front of the rim, doesn't go. Strong rebound from Mosqueda Lewis, and Alexander able to earn a tie-up. Coach Q clapping. He likes what he sees out of his ladies here in the early going. 15-11 remaining in the first half. Syracuse out to a strong start against the third-ranked Huskies. Back after this on Tom Warner Cable Sports. Back inside the Carrier Dome, Syracuse with a 14-8 lead, 15-11 remaining in the first half, and some extra energy in the building tonight, Lorraine, with Connecticut in town. Good crowd on hand for Syracuse as the baseball pass is tracked down by Hayes, and Lacey Hall called for the personal.
That was tough. They were both going after it. Equal opportunity on that pass in, but I think probably the officials thought a little too much contact on Lacey's part. But yeah, great crowd, great energy. It's nice, little boost to the Syracuse economy. Always like when top-ranked teams come in.
And I think the Syracuse players feeding off that here in the early going. Here's Hayes stumbling through the lane, kicks into the corner. Three-pointer on its way and good from Bria Hartley. She leads UConn with 5. And just like that, it's a one-possession game.
She can be very deadly with the three. She's got great range. Tremendous poise for just a sophomore. Works really hard at it. She got a lot of minutes last year, so for a sophomore, she's very experienced.
Hemingway drawing another foul. Strong start by Asia Hemingway.
She's really knifing through that defense pretty well. Nice spin move here. You'll see post up strong. Takes it back and really gets in between the two players. So Kia Stokes did not come over in time to really seal off that position in the paint.
Hemingway takes her time, hits the first free throw. Lacey Hall heads out. Felicia Ballard checks into the lineup, sophomore guard out of Cincinnati. Hemingway leads this team in scoring, averaging just over 16 a game. That puts her 4th in the Big East in that category, and she knocks down a pair of 8 points already for Asia Hemingway, and it's 16-11 Orange.
Now this is something you don't often see teams employ against a UConn team, is a little soft three-quarter press, but just enough to take some time off the clock and maybe upset a little bit of Connecticut's game.
Three-pointer, back of the rim, no good for Mosqueda Lewis. And I believe we have a foul. Or they're just going to say out of bounds.
I think it was just out of bounds. Tiffany Hayes tried to save it.
Hayes tried to save it. They said
ended up in the SU bench and beyond, I think.
How about the start for Hemingway and Tyson Thomas, combining for 14 points. And of course, Alexander has the other bucket for Syracuse. Chance to extend this 5-point lead. Hemingway looking down low for Alexander. Off glass and in.
That was a great post up, and she kept the ball up high, turned and kept it high off the glass. Didn't even give Stokes a chance to have any piece of leather on that one. That was a great move. Beautiful off the glass.
Stokes kicks it out. Hartley to Hayes for 3. Got it. Money ball for Tiffany Hayes. She's streaky. If she gets hot, you've got to get out on her and can't let her have any opportunity for that shot, or she'll continue to bury it on you. Last time she played here in the Dome, she dropped in 22 points against the Orange. So some players struggle with the backdrop here, but not Tiffany Hayes. UConn running. Hayes pulls up from 15. Gets it to go again. She's starting to feel it.
Yep.
Just like that, UConn back within 2. 7 minutes gone by. Coffey working it up against Bria Hartley. Now to Hemingway in the high post. Hemingway steps back, 16-footer doesn't go. Nice box out by Stokes. And again, Huskies looking to run.
Stokes and Alexander are really getting after it underneath there, so it's really banging bodies.
Pull-up jumper is good from Mosqueda Lewis. They just have so many weapons.
They really do, and she's just an amazing weapon. You can see she has no problem donning number 23. Don't think it had even a chance to cool off after Maya Moore wearing it, but she feels very confident in that.
Alexander doesn't go. UConn on a 7-0 run. Chance to take the lead. Hartley. Out for Hayes. Kicks it in the corner. Three-pointer doesn't go. Tyson Thomas the rebound as Ferris was off the mark. Orange pushing. Controlled break. Coffey has her pass tipped and knocked away. Hayes ahead of the field. Coffey slow to get back. And Hayes makes her pay.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can't let that happen. Syracuse too casual with the ball there. You can't have these turnovers because Connecticut will just, they'll execute, they'll make you pay, and next thing you know, they'll be very far in the lead.
So it's a 9-0 run, 9 points for Hayes. Coffey takes it in, draws the contact, and that's number 2 on Kia Stokes. So the two centers for the Huskies, Dolson and Stokes, each with 2, as we have 11.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Gino Auriemma does not like the call. UConn on a 9-0 run, up by 2. We're back after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. Back inside the Carrier Dome, UConn starting to get hot from the outside. First it was Bria Hartley, then Tiffany Hayes dropping one in from deep. This team likes to shoot the 3. Hayes, Hartley, and Doty among the league leaders in 3-point shooting. There's a look at Caroline Doty. Not in the lineup tonight due to a knee injury. First time all season, Lorraine, that Gino Auriemma has had to put someone else in the starting lineup.
Really, and she's just an amazing story. Not only does she lead in 3-point percentage for Connecticut, so imagine if she was on the floor for them. They have enough weapons as it is. But the history behind Caroline is she has incredible fortitude. She has recovered from not 1, not 2, but 3 ACL injuries on her left knee. And the reason she's out tonight is, as you mentioned, she does have a slight bone bruise. They don't feel it's anything serious. The MRI looked good. So happy for her. She should be back in the lineup very soon.
And as a result, as you said early on, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis getting her first career regular season start. And this is someone who's been freshman of the week in the Big East 6 times already this year. She's going to be a player, already is a player, leads this team in scoring.
Yes, she's really fun to watch. And as far as having jitters for your first start, I don't really see them. She's contributed quite well right off the bat, as you could only expect for a #1 national recruit.
After 2 free throws from Coffey, nearly picks up the assist that time, but Ballard can't get the layup to drop. We're tied at 20, 9 minutes in.
Syracuse staying with the 2-3, trying to make it more active, because that will play into Connecticut's kind of 4-guard offense.
Nice ball fake by Hayes, and she's hammered from behind by Alexander.
Easy penetration, those are always the spots open on the zone, right at the elbow. You get that ball inside, gets the defense to collapse. Someone's always going to be open.
And Shaquille Leary set to check into the game for the first time. Lacey Hall set to return for the Orange. First free throw from Hayes, nothing but net. Dolson back into the lineup. And our first look at Brianna Banks, freshman guard out of Georgia. Banks, a McDonald's All-American. They have several of them. You look up and down the roster.
Yeah, pick an honor. Pick preseason Big East. Pick Naismith. Pick Wade Watch. All those things. Everybody on that bench holds at least 1 or more of those titles to them.
Hayes already with 11, half of UConn's points. It's 22-20 Huskies. Hemingway hands it off to Coffey. And again, Syracuse doing a pretty good job with that pressure defense. Pass there knocked away from behind by Banks, as Hall was looking for Hemingway.
You could see Coach Q looking at Lacey Hall saying, "It's not there. It's not there," and it wasn't. You know, it's so true. You don't want to be forcing things that aren't there, and that was there. That was there.
It was there that time. Coffey spotting Hemingway wide open. I think Coffey was surprised how open Hemingway was. 10 for her, so both teams with a player in double figures. 10 for Hemingway, 11 for Tiffany Hayes. And again, we're tied, approaching the midway mark of the first half. Hartley, nice bounce pass, but it was knocked away. And UConn will keep possession with 14 to shoot. Tyson Thomas checks back in the lineup. Ballard will head out. Hayes to trigger it in. Gives it up and gets it back on the inbounds play. Now plays it up top for Mosqueda-Lewis, and Dolson in the post is bumped from behind. And sure enough, charged the foul to Shaquille Leary.
It's going to be tough in the paint. It always is in the Big East, especially between the bigs. And Shakia will always make you pay. She's strong, she's tough in there, she works hard at it. If you're going to get a rebound or get position over her, you're going to really have to earn it.
Mosqueda Lewis from 15 drops it in.
Very, very smooth player. Great shot, good rotation on the ball.
After SU's fast start, they've cooled down a little bit, but Shakia Leary changes that with a nice elbow jumper.
Boy, you're talking about that. She didn't hesitate, and she's done that before, and people are always surprised when she pulls up. She can hit that.
Step too slow on that play. Wave off the basket. Offensive foul against Mosqueda Lewis. Hemingway stepped in and drew it.
A good drive. Hemingway came in.
It's one of those bang-bang plays, one of the toughest calls in basketball, toughest calls in sports, really. And it went in SU's favor that time. Hall maybe got away with a slap on the wrist there. Tiffany Hayes backs it out, tries for three straight away, short with it. Shakia Leary can't handle the rebound. How about that hustle from Brianna Banks? Causes the tie-up, possession to UConn.
Yes. The block charge ought to go down in history. People like you and I, every broadcast all across the country, it's what we get to talk about. Do we like it? Do we not like it? They put the arc in, trying to change some things. Safety for players. So got to be happy with this statistic. Very low right now for both teams, especially Syracuse.
And as we said, it's been a problem all year long for Syracuse, the turnovers. And Connecticut has done a nice job forcing them. Has forced at least 20 turnovers in the last 6 games. Hall bumps, but before the bump, we had a 3-second violation against Syracuse, so that's turnover number 4 against the Orange. Still, I think Coach Q's got to be happy with that number, as we're more than 11 minutes gone by here in the first half. Banks splits the double team. Plays it in the high post for Dolson. Now back to Banks, thinks about a 3, makes the extra pass. Hayes drops baseline, pulls up, short with it. Shakia Leary the rebound. Dolson's got to be careful. It was almost number 3, but no call.
Shakia Leary hung on strong, which is good.
And Hall takes a hop step. And so just as we're talking about the turnovers, 2 quick ones for Syracuse. Alexander back in, Shakia Leary heads out.
Lacey Hall's just got to take her time. She gets so excited and anxious. She sees an open teammate. She wants to get the ball to them, and they're just not quite ready. So she sometimes has the propensity to make some turnovers like that that really don't need to happen. And that's exactly what Coach Q is telling her there.
There's Hartley looking down low. Good steal from Stokes, but it's taken away by Hemingway.
Great steal by Hemingway there.
Coffey takes it all the way in. Lots of contact, no call. And then Hayes able to keep her dribble alive, so no travel. Now Banks takes it in. Knocked away by Alexander.
Good play by Kayla. Nobody was stopping Banks, and so finally Kayla realized she was almost to the hoop. She had to get her hands up and stop that.
Coffey working against Banks. Last 4 possessions for Syracuse, 3 turnovers. Let's see if the Orange can change their fortune on this possession. Hemingway backing her way down, turns into the double team, and they call an offensive foul. Hemingway turned right into Stokes. Good help defense by Kia Stokes.
She came over and covered well on that time. She learned from the time before when Asia was able to split them. Coach Oriema said, don't ever let that happen again.
Little dry spell for both teams. We've gone 2.5 minutes without a field goal from either squad, but we've got a good one. 24 all, 7:09 to play here in the first half. We're back after this on Time Warner Cable Sports. Back inside the Carrier Dome, want to remind you to join us Saturday at 4 o'clock for women's college basketball. It's a Patriot League battle. The Holy Cross Crusaders travel to Hamilton to take on the Colgate Raiders. 4 o'clock live only on Time Warner Cable Sports. And Lorraine As we take a look at one of the more interesting outfits inside the Dome tonight. Since this UConn team lost back on January the 7th to Notre Dame, listen to the margin of victories. Beat Providence by 61. Beat Villanova by 33. Beat North Carolina by 51. Beat Cincinnati by 43. Beat DePaul by 44. This team has been on a mission, blowing people out ever since that loss. And I think you got to give some credit to the kids from Syracuse tonight. We got a tie game 13 minutes in.
Really do. You know, you often talk about, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, where you play to the level of your competition. So when number 3's coming to your house, you want to make it a game for them. You're psyched. You are pumped up as an athlete, and you want to compete. And it's been there all along for this Syracuse team. You just need something to draw it out. And so far, very pleased, I'm sure, Coach Q, what he's seen.
We've already seen 5 ties, a couple of lead changes as Tiffany Hayes called for the travel. 5th turnover of the game for the Huskies. Syracuse 6 turnovers so far. But again, I think anything under double digits in this first half would be a big success for the Orange.
It would be huge. It would just be huge because Connecticut is leading the nation in scoring margin.
Hall stops, loses it. And UConn with a 3-on-1. Hartley takes it all the way and bumped by Alexander. Give Hartley the basket and the foul.
Not a good move by Kayla there. She should have just let her go. She'd go behind and try to block it from behind, but don't make contact.
And that's her 2nd, so that is a costly foul, and that forces Coach Q to bring Shaquille Leary back into the lineup.
She could have let Hartley go by her and then try to use her left hand over Hartley's head to try to block it. Instead of when you're going at the same side with the right hand, you're going to almost always make contact.
8 points now for Bria Hartley.
Just waiting for this, a very tough press.
Coffey forces the pass, and it's picked off by Kelly Ferris. Ferris kind of baited her into that. She was kind of sitting like a safety in a football game, just waiting for her to throw it. And once Coffey released it, Ferris went and got it.
Right.
Stokes off the mark. Hemingway the rebound, and another errant pass by Coffey.
And you got to take advantage when you do get a defensive rebound and you want to push before Connecticut gets set up, but you really got to be careful with the rock and value that possession. Got
to pick your spots against this Connecticut team.
You're only going to get one shot. They're not going to let you have it time and time again.
Yeah, this is not a team that you'll fall behind by 10 against and be able to come back unless you're a Baylor or a Notre Dame.
Exactly.
Once they get a lead, they've been known to step on your throat. Here's Hall. Chance to tie. Doesn't go. Back of the rim. Hemingway the offensive rebound. And she's blocked by Stokes. UConn pushing. Ferris. Nice bounce pass to Mosqueda Lewis. And a whistle and a foul. And Mosqueda Lewis will head to the free throw line for a couple. Ballard picks up the personal. So both teams over the limit. And Troya Berry set to check in for the first time.
Ayaja's just forcing a little bit too much there. She had some early success. When you're taking it in amongst the trees, it's better if you're a tree yourself, or at least of similar size. And so that really set up the break for Connecticut.
Doesn't go. Ferris knocks the ball out of bounds, but she was pushed by Shaquille Leary. And again, Syracuse is over the limit. That'll send Kelly Ferris to the free throw line. 75% free throw shooter.
Kelly is one of those people that use the affectionate term gym rat. Countless hours in the gym, practicing, shooting, drills. She's one of those players that contributes in so many ways. You may not see it from a point perspective, not necessarily double-digit scoring percentage, but just an amazing work ethic. Defensively, she's great with steals.
Ferris drops in a couple.
One of the assist leaders on Connecticut's team. Somebody you'd always want.
And another turnover for the Orange. So after a good start in that category, Syracuse been a little careless with the ball the last few minutes. Hemingway right back in. Troy Berry takes a seat. So just a quick rest for Hemingway, and she's right back in. Both teams shooting well from the free throw line. Hayes got it back off Hemingway's leg. Doesn't go. Hemingway fights for the rebound and hit from behind by Ferris, and then Ferris takes a hard fall. And fortunately, she's up and seems to be okay, shaking it off.
Ooh, yep. She got up on an A, she's back and just slid right off.
And again, both teams over the limit. This will be a 1-and-1 for Hemingway. Ballard checks out, Coffey back in.
Her tailbone, will be talking to her tomorrow, but better that, because she could have landed awkwardly on her ankle or hyperextended a knee, so it didn't sound good, didn't look good, but at the end of the day, might have been the best way to land.
Hemingway makes the first, and that earns her a second free throw. Syracuse hanging in there, down only 5, just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Second free throw is good, a dozen for Hemingway.
Solid at the line.
UConn starting to handle this three-quarter court pressure defense by Syracuse. Might have caught him a little by surprise. Coffey, a near steal. Hayes got it back. 10 to shoot. Hayes off the high screen. Plays it off for Ferris. Now Stokes backs away in against Leary. Good defense by Leary.
Very nice.
To miss.
Stayed straight up. Made Kia go over her.
Nine turnovers for Syracuse in the first half. Tyson Thomas from 3. Off the mark, doesn't go. Tries to follow up her own shot. And the rebound to Mosqueda Lewis. Now Hartley has it taken away. Was trying to find Ferris, and instead Leary intercepted it. And Coach Q says, let's slow it down.
Wise move. They definitely need to, they've got to make Connecticut work on defense. They're taking shots sometimes a little too soon. They pass, get the ball moving around, get that defense to open up. There you go.
Swings it. Now Hall. Short with the shot. Rebound Mosqueda Lewis. UConn wants the run. Hartley in the lane. Kicks in the corner for Hayes. 3